So in this video, the drift truck is going to get a long overdue upgrade that I've been meaning to do for a while now, but it is some brand new fenders. Now I know there's a lot of you who are going to be asking why you're replacing your fenders that are in mint condition other than paint, and that's because these are 4x4 fenders or Pathfinder fenders, whatever you want to call them. They're both the same exact size and measurements. So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to briefly explain real quick what the difference is. Pretty much the only difference is these are a little bit wider. So on the 4x4 hard bodies, this is a two-wheel drive, so they came kind of like just basic, I guess you can say. And on the 4x4 hard bodies, they came out a little bit more bubbled out, so you can see the difference right there. And right here, this just looks a little bit more aggressive. So this came on the 4x4 hard bodies and on the Pathfinder, which is pretty much the same exact thing as this, just the SUV form. Since I know there's going to be a few of you who are asking where I got these from, I took them off of a truck at the junkyard. I actually took them off of a Pathfinder, but I'm pretty sure you can get these on maybe Craigslist, OfferUp. Just look, maybe someone's parting out a 4x4 hard body or a Pathfinder, and then you could go pick these up for maybe around, you know, somewhere between $50 and $200, depending on what you want to paint and the condition that they're in. I didn't really care about paint or anything. That's why they're red and my truck's black. But I don't really care because I'm going to paint it in the future. But paint is not my concern right now. I just want it to not rub on the fenders. Now I know there's a lot of people who say that 4x4 hard bodies have a wider bed, or just the shell of it, I guess, is wider. I don't think that's the case, because I've always looked at 4x4 hard bodies and they look exactly the same as these hard bodies, like the bed at least. I think the only difference is that they come with fender flares, which might make it a little bit wider. So I have some right here too. This is probably not the right one, but as you can see, they come with fender flares, and I don't know if that's where people get it from being wider. I'm not too sure on how hard it's going to be to remove these fenders off of this truck, just because I'm going to have to remove everything carefully because I don't want to destroy anything. And the truck that I took these off of had no front end, it had no hood. This piece was already messed up, so I just messed it up even more. I just pried it up right here. There's two bolts up here, and it just made everything a lot easier when the truck was just kind of a piece of crap, even though this is a piece of crap too, but I don't want to ruin anything else around it. So that's going to be the tricky part. But I guess now is just time to take it all apart so we can get these bad boys on. So far, what I've removed is the cowl up here. Mine had extra screws holding it in. It had like one right there and one right there on the opposite side. But it should only have, I believe, two right here and two right there. They're right underneath the little vents. I'll just show you guys. Mine broke because they're just super old and crusty. But they should be right here underneath the vents. You should be able to access them through the vents right there. But yeah, that one cracked because it's just old. In order to check if your fenders have ever been removed in the past, is come to this front corner or that corner right there and check along this seam right here. There should be some like seam sealer, almost like putty welding this together, and there should be some back here. You can see there's a little bit of residue, but it's not connected to the fender. So that means this fender was not on this truck originally, or it had been removed in the past. If you're gonna have to be removing that, I'd recommend just getting a screwdriver and just kind of like cutting it all little by little. That's what I had to do for these two fenders, because they were like seam sealed on, along with back here also. Alright guys, so I have the fender pretty much mocked up where it's gonna sit. It's not exactly all the way because I still need to push it forward a little bit just so I can open and close the door. But that's roughly about where it's gonna sit, and it's not that much wider, but it's a little bit wider. So right there you can see it used to sit on the tire like in this groove, and now it's slightly I guess more out. So I'm thinking it might be like 2 millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters wider. I don't think it's really anything that much wider than, oh my bad, wider than this one. I think what's going on is this bubble right here, it flares out and then it comes straight down, whereas the original ones, I noticed that they kind of flare out like this, like at a more of not aggressive angle. So this one just goes straight out, straight down, and the original one just kind of go like slowly, they kind of slowly slope out. So right here you can see it's almost the same width as in the bottom, but it goes out a little and then it just kind of still keeps bowing out, where the other one just kind of bow out and then just go straight down. So I think it's pretty much the same exact thing. I don't think they're that much wider. They just look a lot wider. One, because the bulge starts like from here and ends all the way back here, so all this is bulged and then it's all just out. But I think at the end of the day it's all the same size. It's not really that much wider, it just looks wider. I have been looking at them on and off, and I think they're about 1/2 inch wider. So if anyone, you know, wants to get that 1/2 inch, then I would recommend it. But if you're looking for really big gains, by gains I mean like really wide, I wouldn't recommend them. And another thing I noticed is right here, this arch on the stock ones, it goes all the way right there. I try to put the stock valence back on, and it would be like right there, the stock one. And the 4x4 one just comes out a lot more. So right here you can see this is the 4x4 and the stock one. So it all looks the same right here, and then right there there's only one hole, and there's 2 holes right there. So this is a lot girthier than this right here, and this is what I'm talking about. That's the front portion right there. So this one's a lot smaller right there, and that one has a little bit more girth, so it fills up this gap a little bit more. But since I am using the truck for drifting, these fenders are a little bit better, just because it'll be less likely to bind if I ever put bigger wheels. Luckily with these wheels I had no issues when I had these, and I only went to the track once, but when I went I had no issues with it hitting right here, even if it was like all the way out here. But when I do get bigger wheels, I am planning on getting bigger wheels in the future. Not anytime soon, but in the future. They probably will hit if I have the stock ones, so these are going to be coming in handy. But now to do the next side. So I guess I'll just show you a side by side. Of the difference. I know it's not really that noticeable, but in person you can tell a lot more. And they got this fender off. It took me like 30 minutes just because of the fact that this right here, the pinch welds, it was bent up. I think someone jacked it up from right here. I don't know why they would ever jack it up from here, and if they were to jack it up from here, at least jack it up from right here, like somewhere that's not important. But they had to jack it up right here, right where the last bolt is for the fender, which was a complete pain in the ass because I had to bend this back while the fender was bolted on right here. So this was all being covered, and the fender was also crumpled up. But I got it hammered off like as flat as I could with the fender on. Finally got the fender off. Now I'm just gonna hammer it flat, and then I'll be able to throw that sucker on, and then we should be set. But if anyone was ever interested, or is ever interested in what a hard body looks like without a fender, that's pretty much it. I know when I was younger, I always wanted to see videos in depth like this, where people would show what it looks like without a fenders, you know, stuff like that, because I was never ballsy enough to remove a fender. It's pretty much what it looks like, guys. So you can see there's part of the frame right here, and then it goes into the front radiator support. So I just want to show you guys that these side markers aren't in the greatest shape, just so you can see the condition that they're in. In my opinion, since these are kind of beat up and just not the best, it's a perfect item to experiment on and see if I can make them look better. But I know if I don't show you guys, there's going to be someone commenting saying that I ruined a perfectly good pair. But you can see all the chrome right here. It's all bubbling, like the chrome wrap that they put on here. It's got a crack right there. So they're pretty much shot. I guess just try to make them look cool is the new goal. So I'm thinking that when you look at it like this, it looks like it's orange in there, but that's because the sun goes through here, or the light I should say, and then it looks good. But once you cover that, you can't really see the orange as much. I guess it's kind of hard. Right there you can see it doesn't look that much orange. So I think I'm just gonna mask this off right here, all the clear part, and then just paint all the border and paint this all black, and then see how that looks. I got about 3 light coats on there. It's not that thick, but it doesn't need to be thick. And all I had was matte black, flat black paint, whatever you want to call it. I didn't have any gloss black paint, so that's why it looks like this. So what I think I'm going to do is get some clear coat and spray it over just to give it a little bit of a gloss, because in my opinion gloss black looks a lot better than matte black. Got these bad boys all painted up. Since I used the matte black paint, it didn't come out that good of a finish. You can see right there. I did put like 3 or 4 coats of clear, but I still don't think it looks that good just because of the fact that it was matte black. But I think if it was gloss black, it would look a lot better. But now we're going to throw them on the truck and see what they look like. I know they're mismatched and they look completely different, but that was the whole point. So one quick thing I wanted to mention before I let you guys go is that these fenders are a lot wider. Yesterday, I told you guys, oh, they're not that wide. They're like 5 millimeters wider. But what I never took into consideration is that my stock fenders, I had pulled them out quite a bit. So these, to begin with, from how I took mine off, these are already wider for maybe about 5 millimeters wider. And these are in their stock form, factory condition, I guess you can say. And the stock ones, I pulled them out quite a bit just so they wouldn't hit, because I remember they would be sitting like right here on the tire. So these are a lot wider. Give you a little, so you can see from the body line of the truck, you see the bubble. In the past, I've seen where people put 4x4 fenders on like trucks that don't even have wide wheels, which to me makes absolutely no sense, but maybe some of you guys like that, I'm not sure. But for those who don't understand what I'm saying is, I put these fenders on because I have wide tires and wide rims that stick out past the body. So I needed to, you know, kind of get the body out in order to make them fit somewhat. But there's people that have stock rims which are like 15 by 6, 15 by 7, little thin rims that are like super sunken in, and they put these fenders on and it makes like a huge gap like this big. Like this is the rim and this is the fender. I don't understand like the purpose of that. Like in my opinion, it looks completely hideous when you have little rims and wide fenders. But I mean, like I said, maybe some of you like that. I'm not really saying that you couldn't or you shouldn't do that. It's your truck, do whatever you want. But that's just my take on it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of those corner lights. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.